Good night.
Good
Good night. Good
night.
night. Good
Woo.
night.
Yes, people. Yes, people. Good night. Good night. Good night. This is the Up Inside Your podcast powered by who? Gallery Media Production. Boop,
Productions.
boop, boop, boop. All
Woo.
right. So, good night. Good night, and welcome to another episode of the Up Inside Your podcast, where each week we get up inside yeah, analyzing issues affecting Barbados and the world today. I am Chad, your host, and I'm here with my two co-hosts. You know, you've got to pronounce the STS hosts, Peter and Janelle. Say good
Good
night
night,
to the people.
Good night.
everybody.
Good night.
Identify with themselves. Identify
We
with
here, we here,
themselves.
we here, we up inside.
We active. We active.
I
We
hear
We
active.
so.
We
active.
active.
I hear so flying a little blind right now. My laptop decided to update without my permission, and I trying to download YouTube on this other little device that I got here. So
Gosh.
I just
And
flying a
it
little
popped out
blind right now, a little bit, a lot, little bit,
a lot,
but
A
little bit.
lot.
a
A
lot,
little
little
bit.
bit,
I like it.
but I can survive because, as I said, I got my co-host here, co-hosts
Yeah,
Are
we
we plugging
here.
in? Are
We
here
we
here,
plugging in,
we
man?
here.
to keep me up to date on what's going on. So let me run off the topic today. Granny, which part you going, man? Which
Look,
part you
look,
going, Granny?
look, she here, look, she got she tea and she biscuit.
Oh, yeah. You
She
come
here.
Granny got
prepared
tea,
for sure.
boy.
You come prepared.
Granny got
You
tea,
ready?
boy. Granny
Yeah.
got tea.
You come
Granny got the
prepared.
tea.
So I bet everybody was wondering what I mean by Granny, which part you're going. There are so many ways that you could look at that. Where
It's true.
the person who I gotta say person, the person who got involved in the situation with the bank robbery. No, they said so. Did they find out who it is yet? Are that
They
still
got 3 men
pending?
hole.
They still
They
they
got
got
they got 3 men hole from what I heard.
Oh, I didn't hear
okay,
nothing about
okay.
that.
Up to today, saw that they said that they still they have any. Well, you know how it
But
is a
the
media.
the
So
big
it wasn't
question.
really a media something. It was just the people, the gas people.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, well
So
that
guys,
could
yeah.
be yeah, that could be one part of it. Granny, which part you're going? Call the body to dress like a relatively aged person, and then
When they were not.
also, huh?
When they really were not. If you took a good look at the person, you would know that they were not. They got a
A
lot of signs you
granny.
can tell when somebody old from when they old, So it's like you can definitely know.
Uh-huh.
Granny ain't wearing this. Granny don't wear sneakers. You know that already. You done know Granny ain't wearing the sneakers.
My
Granny's wear
granny
Granny,
just be wearing
Granny,
sneakers.
sneakers, Keita.
Granny
Yes.
playing on, Granny playing on sandals. What sneakers?
And
What?
she's
A pair,
stockings.
a pair of
Granny's
slippers.
granny's just wear some nice what them name now, no? Um
Doing some pension post.
A6 man.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
old them
yeah.
is wear
But
A6.
Yes.
Granny these days is wear Crocs and
Uh,
sandals from Rasta man. Granny's want the foot comfortable, then want the law friction on
but
that so
but
on
let
the foot.
me but let me recognize though that grannies of the past ain't grannies of right now and possibly grannies of the future. Cause once upon a time a granny was identifiable by style of dress, maybe a hairstyle, and a more mature into elderly lady. But nowadays we got grannies as young as 30, 37.
Or I know a
You
granny
Well,
should
they
be in
understand?
her
young and
30s.
the working.
I know a granny
And
should be in
still
her
working,
30s.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right here,
Eh,
so still trying to
but
sign in.
but I feel as though like that body should really got to get some sort of public display for embarrassment. So this person need to be embarrassed. You understand? That's not just how I feel. I feel
For
like this person
tarnishing
that did the
granny
robbery.
names.
Yeah, for tarnishing the image of women first of all, because that was a horrible excuse for to look like a woman. A
Uh-huh.
and for traumatizing the staff as a bank, as a person as working at a bank, right? I would
Hmm.
never wish a robbery on nobody be. You don't know what stuff is going to get through when they got robbery. How we feel in the inside, that sort of thing when they got robberies at a bank. It's just be a different experience. Don't know it till you experience it, boy. I
Hmm.
lucky to be I worked at the bank when there was no robbery, but I know branches I
mhm.
had to go to directly after robberies and work and see what the atmosphere is like. I see how traumatized the staff are because at any day, if you're the customer saying like that, when somebody pull a gun on you, you can know, you can feel it deep down
Right.
within yourself. people's got to get things home traumatized.
Yeah.
All
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing
Yeah.
because of that. I just put a lot of pressure on people that don't necessarily work at that branch or might go good to cover that might not know what's going on or what's not. But I sure tell you that I could be sure I tell you that some of those staff members did not speak well on me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
is
But
could
true.
only imagine.
yeah, from actually what you are saying, when that robbery took place, I in my mind I was more thinking about the staff, that person who would have seen the gun that set her, because I have had personal experience, not so drastic, but I digress. I ain't going into that. No, but I know
So I tell you it's going to tell me you get robbed at gunpoint.
I wasn't actually robbed, but the person did pull a gun on me. But that's another story for
Mm.
another day. Cause I remember telling that story and my mother finding out and me telling the story because when it happened, I didn't tell her. But
You the
yeah,
friend tell your mother?
I know more friends from my mother than anybody that are trying to rob me.
Wait, but you don't got a control of how you can get robbed.
True. And that's why I was thinking about the teller. I was thinking about the workers. But the number of memes and things that had come out and the Max Sport Kick Sport thing, I was kind of, yeah, so I laugh at some of them. I was
Yeah,
like, but
you let
nobody
get
even
fucked.
asking like how the body doing or anything like that. You be
Because
just,
Barbados in a
it's
real
just a
place.
Max Sport society now. Everything is just sport.
Barbados in a real place, man. I
It,
know I have friends. I got friends that work at that first Caribbean. The first thing I do is I message my friends that work there and I show them, make sure they're good. And tell them that, like it can happen to anybody and don't try to take it on too much and try to just offer some uplifting words at that time because it's pretty traumatizing. Don't get me wrong, because you could get robbed. You just get robbed every day from certain retailers, and yes, you don't be traumatized by it because it's normal to get robbed in that aspect. But when you got like for death in front, a gun, and you don't know if the person got a fake gun or a real gun, or if the person crazy, because that stunt is nothing short of crazy, nothing short of psychotic.
very
To
much
actually
so.
dress up like a woman, wear a bra, stuff it with clothing, wig, hat, the whole works, mask, dress, sneakers. That's an effort. And that person liable to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's
When I the
nothing short
going
of psychotic.
when I the going secondary school, man, I remember me being me, a girl they bring school an extra overall, and I put it on a thing, and I walked out the school that day as one of the girls, cause I did just love doing foolishness at Alexandra. So really and truly, I think all of we at some point in time as youngsters growing up used to do some sort of foolishness to like hide or imitate a female though. So it's not far fetched because even
Yeah, but
even
you
me-
don't
even
rob nobody.
entertainment. Well, of course not. That's the extreme part now. But I mean the fact that people looking at it like, okay, well the guy dressed up as a female and went and robbed some place. I mean like that's the greatest disguise in the world because you go in there with one of them masks that's distort your face and what, but people know what you coming to
Or
do.
maybe even a face shield.
Mhm.
Right. So my thing is, my mind just was ingenious with it. I don't know if you watched it on a picture or something. I
I just
recognize
saw
that I
Something.
could get away with
did
it.
anything anybody showed me in a mask and a face shield. I don't know what it is, I
Okay.
just unless you got a very distinguishing remark about your body. Otherwise, I do not know what it is. You got a
Don't
mask
see.
and a face shield. It'd be hard to distinguish the
It's real
person.
hard. Like
But
I
when
just
you
get
can
Right.
away,
present,
right? I just get away. People can recognize
but
me,
right, I can
but
recognize
I
you
just struggle.
anyway.
You were like, right, but
I
I
can
just
recognize you anyway.
But
But
Keita,
here's the thing,
I
right?
can recognize you though.
listen
I
to me,
feel like you
Kita.
recognizable.
Kita. Yeah, but you know somebody tell me so it's not even my because of my vitiligo is me. The what somebody would say my disposition. I guess
Ha
people
ha
like
ha.
Hmm.
right?
Nah,
But
but
but I
I
do I honestly I because when I see people, I just don't pick them up. I just be like, wait, who's that? I see somebody at work and they're talking to the person, and then I was like, wait, oh shoot, yeah, that was such and such. I struggle with these things sometimes, but like even in this particular situation here with this thing here, I didn't even be able to pick up who that body is.
trust me,
I
I don't want to talk too much into it because I've seen the situation play out as it did, but the person is very easy to pick out when you saw that situation play out. It, but the thing is, we live in a world now where gender equality is everything, and as well as the whole trans community. So even if you did pick it up, you are not to discriminate or backlight because that is supposed to be the new norm. So because of the lack of discrimination and you can't discriminate in these times, it kind of work against the whole identifying a risk in society. So if the world was also discriminatory about trans, not saying it should be, but if the world was about living that life back, let's say 2007, where we discriminating, maybe the burning out, batting man, and this and that, and
Yeah,
third and fourth.
yeah.
If the world was still living like that, just gonna even get that far because when he come in the bank, people would be like, "What's it say again on here?"
Yes,
Everybody
yes,
would have been
yes.
instantly drawn to turn around and say, "Yeah, nah, boy, who's this here?" And somebody would probably publish me at that sort of thing.
Yeah. But these things are accepted
On
now, so.
anything? What going on in the chat? I still blind, you know. So
Oh,
Blame
shoot, yeah, I was
still
saying
chat the people.
the people
somebody
vote here,
said,
boy. People vote here.
just
People
Let me just say good night
Tyrone
again to
vote
everybody.
here. Yo, Tyrone. Yeah,
just
Titus vote here, man. Titus vote here.
Us?
Titus
What going
vote.
on,
oh,
big
Yeah,
dog? We ain't see
that's
you in
Tyrone.
okay,
several
That's Tyrone.
episodes.
okay.
We ain't see, well, I
Yes,
still can't see her.
viewers and stuff, but it's so hard because you are the person who does definitely be clear the chat. Somebody actually had asked who spraying, right? And I was like, oh shoot, well, child ain't even spray the people at temperatures.
Yeah,
Because
it's
you know
true.
That's
the
good.
same
That's
gas.
So
good.
true.
Cats, man.
It's
So,
so true. It's like right now we ain't gonna say it right now. I
yeah,
hopefully we in the next cluster. That's all I can say. Hopefully we in the next cluster. But I
Korean
get
doing the
no
chat.
chance
Man.
to I
So,
get no chance to do the checks.
The chats,
I
but,
forget the remote one everything.
but now
but
we
just
talking
to
about
wrap up,
chats. We gotta check in though, Kita. What about these
yeah,
sponsors?
Yeah, man, do that there
yeah.
so for
We gonna bigger the
real.
sponsors, man. Bigger Allery Media Production every single time for making this podcast possible, powering me, making me look good
Powered
on the screen.
by yeah.
Yo, we plug in every single week on the Thursday thanks to Allery. Bigger Trader Cuts Barber Studio. Every cut is a creation, and we making it happen. I
Yeah,
actually
man.
want to go there tomorrow to get my hair cut because my hair on a different sort of level. That we got my hair like this season, but my hair point something else. It popped down, so I need to cut.
So you going to see after this episode here done? Are you going you
I got
nightcap
point.
and everything?
I got point of it. I can see everything
Okay,
after the
okay.
episode.
Chat.
You understand? I popped down, so I go see Trainer Cuts and Trainer Cuts and make it happen.
Yes.
Let me big up Sibel for sure with the menstrual cups.
Definitely
Janelle,
sold school today again. I must
Chelsea,
say.
she's on, bro,
Yeah,
man.
I know, but Allery tried to really get me behind with the presence on the page, but the word of mouth, let me say thank you. Thank you to this podcast for sure. Always keeping it alive. But definitely the ladies who are coming and get it and they're recommending. So we still there, right? From teens right up to grannies. Well, once it's still menstruating.
Right, make
But
sure
yeah.
to tell the
Yeah,
people to
but
click
yeah,
the like button
obviously
as they come into.
they got a lot of
Yes,
young grannies, so you
definitely.
never know. But yeah, so big them up. I big up Barely Sober Entertainment. We
Big
fingers
up.
crossed, as you can see. We want to get outside. We want to
Yeah.
get active. So
Yeah.
let me do the thing.
But
Let
you
me
want to
get
see my
outside.
thing today, Keita? You want to see my status today? I did put up something.
Nah,
I
it's
think
busy
I
out
call
there,
Barely,
boy.
but I did plan to put it on Instagram and tag you, but I just didn't
I
get
ain't
around
look
to
at
it. Today
Nan
was a
Sophie.
very busy day, man.
I have post memes for day. I look at Nan Sophie day.
Now you did really
I
want it,
just popped
this.
down work on me and I had luck.
Yeah,
But big up all the sponsors.
for
And you
sure.
can check out Audrey Media Production for sure. If you want to get a podcast started, that's the person to talk to. If you want to get media work done, talk to Audrey. He
But
plugged in for
listen, you
sure.
know, let me also mention that we got some bigger things coming. We got real big plans come close to the ending of that. It's called that the ending of summer, right? So
Yeah,
we ain't gonna
for sure.
giving up all of the information. We just putting you on your guard that there are changes coming, that there are updates that are happening. We excited about it, and we want everybody to be excited with us. We also working
But guess
on
what?
having. Go ahead, my brother.
But guess what? I just want to let everybody know that you too can be a sponsor. Just link up with the team. You know, send me a DM, send me an email, and you too can be a sponsor of the show. It's real
True.
simple. We can make it happen. So You plug it right in. Go right ahead, child.
Right. Yeah, so I was saying that just now we can be getting that long-awaited merch situation started out. I feel excited about that because it's like when you put something on a shirt, on a mug, on a flyer, it feel like if it's come to life then. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
official.
really
Yeah,
yeah, I
officially
really excited
official.
about that. I'm very, very
Mhm.
excited about that. And as time goes on, we can definitely be updating you guys as to where you can go and help to support and also make yourself known to the people in the streets that you are a part of the Up Inside Your podcast group.
Active. We
Yeah,
active.
man.
And if you
So,
could see this, and if you could see me right now, if you could look at my faces, if you could look me in my eye, make me zoom
mhm.
in my eye, somebody. If you could look in my eye, hit the like button. Just hit the like button now.
Yeah.
Just hit smash the
Hit the
like,
like. Yeah, man.
subscribe to
As
the
when I come
channel,
in,
and we plug in.
as when I
We
come
plug
in,
in.
click it. Make sure that when I share it with one of friends and thing. Right, and we're being told that at 200 subscribers, we can have a giveaway
I
or
give
some
away.
giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
So as I
Mm.
Look
said,
out,
people,
look out, look out, look out.
we
I'm
got
excited
things
though. I'm
coming. We got
excited.
things coming,
We
man.
plug
We
in,
got
man.
things coming. As
We
long
plug
as we
in.
keep on the trajectory that
We plug in.
outside stays outside, we should be plugged in. And I looking
Yeah.
forward
Yeah.
to that stuff, man. I looking forward to the diversification of Up Inside Your podcast. Cause ain't nobody like me. There's absolutely nobody like me. So
Yes.
let me continue on down the line and get into this conversation.
Our discussion
Granny,
tonight.
which part you're going? I didn't know where one of the stats was, but I got
Awesome.
something here that I can post to the two of you guys and obviously the people within the chat room, and they can give their opinions or feedback on whatever. All right. So let me talk about the fact that Granny's looking younger and younger. We can start on the lesser, easier side. Granny's looking younger and younger. Why you think that's taking place now, Janelle? Let me start with the lady of the
Oh
hour.
dear. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
man.
thank you.
Yeah, man.
Well, funny enough, we were seeing a lot of that happening where the grannies were looking or actually being younger. But we do have a lot of women now who are taking their time and starting their families and everything. But I can tell you with social media, I don't want to say that the pressure is there, but you get to see that there are so many other women out there who just about taking care of themselves and the family. People want to live
Mhm.
longer. And like with this particular page that I stream from, the number of women over in the 50s and the 60s that just all about that positive energy, taking care of the mental health and the physical fitness and everything. So I find that there are a lot more persons who take pride in those things and they're working towards that. But I also know that with society, you do have a lot of women who they started the families early, and obviously when you start a family early and they continue like that. What is the good thing about it though is that I find that those ones who had children young and their children had children young, just look like though, is the sister, you see that picture.
That was so true.
Yeah, a lot of them do. So I think that just a lot more women are taking pride in themselves and stuff. It's a struggle. Don't get me wrong. I be struggling daily, daily. But kudos
Mhm.
definitely to the women who are pushing their fitness, their mental and physical fitness, their spiritual awareness and everything. Today, I looking up to
Yeah,
y'all.
but well, big up to them for sure. Big up, big up, big up. Because the truth is, from my end, I think it's so because, like what Janelle was alluding to at the end, the mothers had children real young, and this is the life cycle we in now. So
Mhm.
we don't live the life now where you go grow up to a certain age and want to live your life to a certain extent to have a child. People just have children early. Whether they're ready, they ain't ready, they just have the child early. 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds having children, the cycle could be like that. So when that person no get, if it's 20, wait, 10 to turn 38 and they're still a little young, they
Mhm.
got 18-year-old. And that's the cycle right now I'm in. And the 18 year
All
old
right.
looking to do the same thing. And they can see nothing
Well.
wrong with it because my mother had me at 18 or 19 or 20. That's the
Uh-huh.
norm. My mother do it, so I could do it. I can make it
Mm.
work.
But what I can say is the fact that even though that you do have a point where that a lot more women are having children in like, the 19, 20, 21, early 20s, I guess you would call that gap.
Mm.
My thing is that don't forget that our grandparents actually would have had us younger too, well, had our parents younger because they would have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
married early. They
Mm-hmm.
would have been building homes and creating a home structure. But the reality is that they looked the granny part, or we grew up seeing them looking, behaving like a granny. So, and we know that back in that time that there was more wholesome foods to use. We didn't have the mass production situation. We didn't have the from concentrate vibe where that food was being skimped upon. There was quality in every product. We know that for a fact. But yet these women still down the line of looking like a granny. Now we have more disadvantages, in my opinion, now than we did have back then. Because like I said, we got mass production issues. We got people just trying to create products from from concentrate, from all of these different color things and whatever. If you want to go into that part, we
A
got
lot of
more.
added chemicals
We got more,
and
yeah,
infections and stuff.
chemicals. We got a lot more pollution. We got a lot more everything. So it honestly had me wondering why is it that women then, even though they had a little bit more in terms of the healthy, you're putting in, you basically is look where you put in, that's how you're gonna look when it coming out to your system. Why is it that women back then would have looked that granny way or disposition? But now the grannies are looking younger, they're taking care of themselves, as we all know, they're exercising more, the drinking
Yeah.
water, the taking care of the mental health, these sorts
You
of
like
things.
you.
So I just want, huh? Huh?
You in the chat. That's exactly what the ladies were saying. You can see
Oh,
what they're saying. They actually said the
nah.
same thing. That a lot
Okay.
of them are drinking a lot more water. There's more awareness. Nielsen said she loves it. No, that she used to be afraid of getting old, but the people just looking so good, so it's encouraging you to be healthy.
Uh-huh.
Liz actually agree with you. In the point where now, if your parents do it, you come with that same mentality or whatever. But a lot of shifts
For
happening
sure.
now. Yeah. And Nilsa
Mhm.
also she continued the point that she feel that they had a lot more kids, etc. But right now, there's more information out there. We have more access to the information. So although we have a lot
Agree.
more pressures from the what you were saying, Chad, we have a lot more pressure from in terms of manufacturing and eating all the not so good food or the what we have access to now is the not so
Mhm.
good things. We are still more aware of it. So more people can be reading the
Chem- the
packages,
chemically imbalanced foods and all
right?
the
Mhm.
fast foods and
Yeah.
all the different things.
It's true, and I also know, like, yes, you got these starches there, but we our grandparents believe in the grown provisions, but you gotta use them things in a little bit. You can't use a plate full of the others and the yams and the sweet potato and
No,
things.
it's so funny, right? That I had this conversation with our friend in show, Give You Dan. I had this conversation with Give You Dan probably 2 years ago. We look back at like crop over in like the 80s, the 90s, and so on. I look at the fitness of people in those photos as opposed to the fitness of people now, right now in society. And
Mhm.
we deduce that it happens to, well, we kind of draw it down to the actual implementation of fast food. So because there are not these well-known restaurants that sell fast food at that
Mhm.
time, people were forced more to eat more wholesome foods at home and what's not. And the people that
Right.
crop over they look so fit. The average person just look normal. Nobody fat in the big belly. Everybody look trim, all starting back then. But no,
Mhm.
everybody is just partying and do what they want to do because they could do it. And back
Right.
then, also being overweight was not anything that was celebrated or the norm. So you wouldn't exactly got these I guess confidence to go and jump or what's not. And if you saw
Mhm.
somebody overweight back in those videos, even though they were in black and white or very low quality footage, there were not in a situation where you would see a lot of people that were overweight, but everybody looked a norm. But if you look at the average video now for the past couple, for the past 10 years, the first thing that come up on the page, you can see at least 5 out of 6 people, sorry, 5 out of 10 people, half overweight, and that is the reality.
That is actually very, very interesting, and what you just mentioned, because the fact that we have all of these fast food, all these fast food outlets, and all of this access to different brands, types of foods that we never had before, and like once upon a time, and I think we mentioned this numerous times in the past, that back in the day, eating fast food was like a reward. It was like, all right, well, yeah, we had a real good
Yeah.
week. We did eating good the whole week. Mama
Yeah,
feel like
boy.
cooking nothing, so mommy gonna go and buy a ridiculous pizza from
Yeah.
Pizza Man Dog. Come home, well dressed, everybody gets something to eat,
I
and we
love it.
happy.
It is so happy that
Yeah, boy.
I get a lush effect because for doing my 11 plus. That was the reward for me.
That
I
was
remember
my
doing my 11 plus.
bullshit fat. Yeah.
I went Princess Margaret doing my 11 plus, and then they get a little reward. You could cross the street.
I mean, I know you're old boy, 'cause I can't remember what was my reward.
Child boys.
I can't remember. I'm serious. I can't remember what was my reward. I
Come
can't
on,
remember.
child. Don't do that to we.
I
Don't do
can't
that to
remember.
me.
I
Let me
cannot
feel.
remember.
Your parents must have
Oh.
said, "You don't want no reward, you little come
Yeah.
get
Well,
that was
I'm trying
bad.
to. I haven't heard in my head with that shit there, no, cause that gonna only give me a headache.
Yeah,
But
I remember
yeah,
that day in
but
school.
but I feel like women,
celebrate that. Yeah, they celebrate that shit, fat boy.
right? Man, you know Barn the other day, Keita, man. But anyhow, the thing is that I find that people have to work a lot harder now to get to and maintain the bodies that would have been naturally around, or as you said, it would have probably be like one in well, like let me say about 5 people, 1 in 10 people that would have been
Yeah.
a bit overweight. But I feel back then too, it would have been like, they had people that, if it was a health issue or whatever, that would have been their reason, or if the family got that big structure. You can't beat DNA still. DNA is still another thing that you gotta consider, because
Yeah,
everybody
for sure.
can be slim and trim. So I feel because the women and well men too, we
Men
got
too.
way more to work that is working against us in
Yeah.
the health industry. You gotta actively put more work in
Yeah, effort.
to get that body and to maintain it. And discipline is something that has to come into play, because
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I do
yes,
agree with you. And you know
right.
that. Oh, sorry, child. Oh. No, I was just saying that I know that this society, remember, a lot of people keep referencing what Hillary Beckles would have spoken about. But because although we have
Yeah.
persons who look pretty okay, their
Mm.
life, their lifespan then as long as as you would have expected. We have been working against the clock because of our DNA from the beginning. How
Right.
our ancestors would have been fed, it is now built into our DNA, and it makes
Yeah.
it a struggle for us. So, like,
Mm.
I remember I visited one of the a farmer plantation, and they spoke about the fact that a lot of people died from lead poisoning. Like, oh, okay. Like the lead poisoning was like lead poisoning because they used to drink the fresh alcohol, their first set of alcohol. It wasn't aged in the barrels or whatever, and that would have been lined with the containers would have been lead containers, and they would have gotten lead poisoning from that. So
Mm.
like we just drink alcohol like crazy, but when
Mm.
it affects our body like drastically than it's a person from our original ancestors. If they drink alcohol, they the effects will probably not be the same. Even with our eating as well. So we have to fight against our own
That's a
DNA.
fair
We
point.
have to fight against all of the manufacturing, well, this capitalist society. We gotta fight against all these things now. So it really is hard. And then when you're gonna be dealing with the stress that is coming in this time, like that, like, no wonder that man might try to rob the bank in us or to get up because like everybody is a hard time. So even if, a lot of people know you want to be fit and healthy and whatever, but
But
you like,
you're running right into the next point that I don't want me,
Well,
football.
segue, my brother, talk to
go
thing,
ahead,
talk
go
to
ahead.
thing.
That was basically it because that was one of the things like cost of living, forcing people to do some pretty crazy things out here in these streets. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They talked about the streets
Yep.
last year. We back in the streets again. We back in these
Again,
streets. The
I
people
don't
it
know
is
want
nothing
to
about this
know.
street life. I don't know about
People
this
want
street
to
life.
laugh in the streets. We back in these streets. Things are rough out here, sir. Things are rough. Things are very rough in these streets, and people trying to find creative ways to make money.
mm-hmm.
Well, I found it real ironic that, like just a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, maybe it was about work on AG, before we didn't know on this tweet off YouTube, right? Before we on YouTube,
Pick up.
we were talking about how things were and that the minimum wage was increased. Everybody was like
Mhm.
hip hip hooray, and it was telling you like I remember we said that this is something in disguise that something significantly gonna happen that can got we and it had a lot soon for enough. Now you see the cost of living about to increase and the supermarkets about to increase their prices and that sort of thing. I know it was coming. For the time you see minimum wage, then these retailers know to themselves that they can check what we a
Mm-hmm.
fresh. We
Mhm.
got stuff plus. So they might say, yeah, I can make a little more in my pocket. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Lick.
They definitely.
Lick.
But just as you
Lick.
Big
said,
law
we
pull.
said it. We said it though a couple
Lick.
weeks ago
But we
about
can
that cost
go,
of living, about the
everybody was, but people were
increase.
celebrating it. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's time to increase. But are you really going to feel the increase? No, know that the cost of living is about to increase? No, because you bought in the same circle. We bought in the same conundrum. We cannot get out of it. And that's the way it is. It had to happen. But what can be done? That was the question I
Mhm.
posed to everybody tonight. What can be done?
Mm. Well, that is
You want
interesting.
to go right chat
Very
first?
interesting.
You want to go
Huh?
ahead and try to answer that? Let's see. Yes.
What going on with the wait, is that key to the anyway?
But
As
he
it
was
pertains,
asking like
after
what
what can be
measures are they
done
put in place?
as it pertains to the increase in the cost of living, as opposed to the wage, the increase in minimum wage, and so on.
Mm.
What can be done to increase it?
Well, I think I may be considered cynical for this one because I know that whenever they offer us one thing in one hand, them is take it back somewhere else. And that
Mm-hmm.
has been going on for eons. This is not a new process.
Yeah, from the
Like
beginning,
I was having a conversation this week, I can't remember with who, about the gas prices,
mm-hmm.
the increases and the decreases. Now, what I started to do was I actually started writing down each month when I get, whenever the blasters come out and people send you the WhatsApp to let you know that it's going up and whatever.
You find out you can even
I
say each month.
actually,
That's
yeah, it's each
worrying.
month. It's actually each month because I have it from as far back as I think it's January. I because I'm using my phone right now to come to you guys. I don't have it right to hand, but I do have it each month. How they do it, the scheme in which they use, the nature and how they
You analyze the
increase.
data.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
analyze the data.
I looked at it from as far back as 2019 all the way till now. And I have seen a trend. So the issue in life sometimes is the fact that our memories are not as sharp as we could recall. Or last month was this, it get increased by 6 cents, and the month in front it was actually decreased by 4. So it's like if you don't write that stuff down, you're not gonna really be privy to what's going on. But I
It's
do
true.
write it down. I
Use
do write it
radio,
down.
yeah. It's not especially gas. Gosh.
Yeah, I do write it down and
I
I
never
monitor
get to
the
all over it.
increases. I can share it with one at a time. I gotta just remember to do that. But I say all that to say that there are ways in which that the governments of Barbados over the years have decided to do X and Y to constantly have the society basically on its knees. Because there's a conversation about getting people. in a position that they can survive, getting people in a position that they can provide for themselves, all of that stuff. But we're not seeing it on the end where that, all right, where we seeing we getting a boost over here. There are no plans currently in place that I am seeing. And that's where I got to state that is from my perspective, and I can't say it on behalf of Keita, Janelle, or anybody else, that they are making room for people to do better. I constantly just see a recurring cycle of, all right, this here
Yes.
happening, this counteracting the supposed
Yes.
progress. I'm not
Yes.
seeing something that says, all right, this is the way how we getting through now, and nothing to imbalance it. You understand what I'm saying? So constantly, I have just seen power plays where that we hearing we got X amount of money in reserves. I hearing that we got X amount of this, we got X amount of that, but it does not benefit the everyday person. I'm not seeing
Yeah, but that's
everyday
only
people
benefit the country on the
winning.
whole. That's only
Well,
benefit the country on the whole, but it don't benefit me, the consumer.
but that's what I'm saying, because even I saw the gentleman, I don't know his name, but he's usually be like recording from his car and talking about things. This one he spoke about what was that conversation about, the the agency that came online and said that there has not been price hikes in over 5 years. And
I'm
he
sure
wanted to know, right, and he wanted to and he wanted to know where exactly is that data coming from, because yet again, Barbadian society just take whatever we are told and we believe that is true because it's coming from a figurehead. We need to start challenging these people to provide actual data proving that. Because you Keita, going to the supermarket, you Janelle going to the supermarket, I chat going to the supermarket, everybody in the chat got to going to the supermarket, and recognizing that their bills are increasing, and ain't like you ban nothing different. And like sometimes I know everybody gotta be struggling to say, well, I know what to eat for breakfast. You either got eggs, you got bacon, turkey strips, maybe a little ham, whatever. You struggling to find breakfast stuff. You buying the same stuff constantly in a circle, but your bill is exorbitantly high. It is always changing. It never is the same, and your budget blow if you're a person that works from a budget. And these times, if you're working from a budget, I mean you gotta be living real good.
We cannot work on these things.
Yeah. But I definitely, that was where I was going. As I was saying, my issue has been, and it always is that we are so reactive. We are not putting anything in place to reduce our importation. We are putting on taxes on top of taxes on things that you can actually reduce. We're not doing anything to produce either. So we may produce in the primary industry, but we're not doing anything the secondary part. We are not taking anything from the raw materials and making it into something. You have very few manufacturing companies in Barbados, and we're not using this time to push. And it should not even just be about buying local or buying homegrown. Right now, I think it should be a concerted regional effort to get our acts together. But everybody sells right now, because there are a lot of things. I have no issue with us getting things from within the region, because when we get things from within the region, we can also supply the region. That's where we are working on ourselves. Everything that comes into the region, if it is. So whatever is coming in from out of this of the Caribbean or the Americas or whatever, they have the same payment of those things, the same tariffs, etc. But when it comes to us trading with each other within the region, it should be much less than what we are importing from outside internationally, and that's something we need to be working on. When you could have building better trade, increasing our manufacturing, those are solutions. Why is it that we are still importing potatoes and stuff like that? It should not be. Yes. And I think that, and you see the same thing we were talking about when it came to people and trying to lose weight. We have changed our taste for things. So you have a more expensive taste, and like, so people want the russet potatoes, and then they want them thing English potatoes that got in about 10 eyes. Cut out the boys and eat the food. What is the issue? No, we're going sweet potatoes and people here, and we buying packaged sweet potatoes from Singapore. Huh? What you
Yeah,
already
that's
mean?
madness.
We
That's
have to
absolute madness.
stop that. Stop
We
it.
gotta recognize the power that we do have, And I really and truly think that is laziness within society that allows and perpetuates this foolishness. Because I remember years ago and I think I told one of this story before where brain bent up and Bajans were crying out. And I told Bajans that would have been accessible to me because my Facebook could only go so far. I told Barbadians, leave the bread out for 1 week, just 1 week, and recognize that bread has a shelf life. So when that goes bad and the supermarket has to take that loss and get all of that bread off of the shelves, they're gonna be like, you know what? The people hate me where it hurts most, which is our pockets. So when the next set of bread comes out on the shelves, we obviously have to make it more attractive for these consumers to
Talk
consume.
about them.
But that's the issue. Yet again, short-term suffering for long-term gain because I get people coming underneath my Facebook stating, oh, so if I don't buy bread, what my children can eat when they go to school? What you gonna make for lunch? What you gonna do? They always excuses. So I can even add to your point now,
Always
Jenna. Oh, I don't know nothing about. I've seen something called Idaho potatoes.
right.
And I noticed that them bags, there's like it's literally you could count how many potatoes in there. I realize the time that you decide to peel all of them and make a little mashed potato for yourself or something. When you out of potatoes, when
Correct.
they could go to buy
And
when
then
they
you
could go to Jordan's and get a tampon for $8.99 and they got real potatoes up in there.
and
Yes.
people in chat,
Yes.
and people in chat understand exactly what you say. Neil sit here saying we like to grumble but don't take action. And that's the fact. Because
Right.
we do
Right.
because
Big up Nilsa.
Nielsen said when the cornflakes go up, leave it on your shelf. You know what I mean? Like
Facts.
if gas go up, we just say we moving around less, we can carpool. It can force them to go care about doing gas though.
Right. Yeah. Just landing to my point that people do not understand the power that they hold within
Sure.
consumerism. They
Yeah,
just don't get it.
but we ain't
Yeah.
gonna together we ain't gonna together next but here
That
because
is it.
And I
we
just
can
I just
program
tired of that. Oh
we
shit.
can program
Sorry.
no. Cause look at it this way. We got these
Just
places
to
I
turn
got
that
there.
he dropped himself.
No, I miss
Yeah.
an when they
Wait,
come in to
I
flicker
know.
when
I
they come in to
hear
flicker
you.
a notification,
Yeah.
it get clicked on instead.
Oh
Nah, but
God.
Yeah.
we got these supermarkets and these distributors and so on that got their teams that
Uh-huh.
strategically placing ads all over the place to buy every interest or buy the for my interest into coming in and getting these things, even though they're
Uh-huh.
overpriced. We know they're overpriced, but because it's the brand name and it
Uh-huh.
well known and this and that, church for we can't say no. We can't say no to the big
Facts.
brands and whatnot because all these targeted ads and so on that got in your mind from the plant I see you had from small for you walking in the store. They got these shelves and these things up front. But you can still see the same things in the back. But up front, the plant I see, like you, I would try to say,
Uh-huh.
you know, I would try to
But
say, even though they're overpriced,
uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying?
But
They can show
we've
you,
watched too much face, man.
they can show you like things like top of the shelves that are a level cost a certain amount, but as you go lower on the shelf,
Uh-huh.
the things that are
Uh-huh.
not so available or what's not cheaper, but the men
Right.
on a level, all these little tactics and tricks that they're using to program it. So, you know, it's gonna watch these things.
Man, let me tell you something. Another thing that's happened is that you want to buy a frosted flakes in the box because you know that's the brand. That's what people gonna be like, oh, I bought it in frosted flakes, as opposed to getting the no-name thing that got a whole bunch of frosted flakes in it for less money. Because when somebody right past you carrot like they say so and okay,
It's true.
so is you
People,
shame. You budget is
Yeah.
two
We're gonna
fifty.
start
people
You
want
using
but
to use,
CrossFit
they
yeah,
Fit.
want to
Period.
persevere.
you
People want to,
you
people want,
budget, but your
they
budget is two
want to
fifty.
persevere.
You budget is 250. Right? Boop, boop, and you see no or wait to 237 and this cheese costs $17. This cheese going back. Wait, hold on, put
Yes.
back.
Yes.
People just be
I do
ashamed to do
it.
that. People be
I
Yeah,
ashamed.
do it.
exactly.
You're right. I
There's
do
less
it.
things, there's left and right there on the conveyor. Put about
Yes.
there. on the little silver
Right.
part, and let us know where it is.
Correct.
But
Correct is right.
we won't buy Tony Tiger. We won't buy the Grizzly Man, the Grizzly Bear. Get the Grizzly Bear. He cheaper.
Uh-huh.
It's tastes the same thing when you put milk in it. It tastes the same way.
You better
Same.
You
change
understand?
and get you oats from Hills
Yeah.
Minute, from locally produced oats, yeah. That's what. That's what you're trying to get these here so to understand. You don't need all those things. Hey, change your palette. Work on that. Cut your costs. Stop getting some market and buying all them things. I
Cut
working on it
costs,
myself.
Man, I just don't know. I think what we could do with this particular portion of the topic is add it to the fact. Well, Granny Rich part, you're going with the mentality is still the same. The
Let's
mentality is
go.
still the same. We gotta change
I
that
hope, I
mentality
hope Granny
because we
against
still got that
supermarket.
old time
I
thing.
hope
Yeah.
Granny against supermarket. So they waste your money. It's foolishness. No, we hope Granny again.
My granny smarter than
Listen,
I hope so.
I
Granny
I ain't
money
a
You
black.
fan of
have
nothing
the
sweet like that.
conscience. Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of nothing sweet, overly sweet. So like if I had to choose between 20 the tiger and this grizzly bear that got the ugly face and grizzly bear cheaper, let me go with grizzly bear. Cause I got piece more money to put
Word
back
with
in the
Grizzly
gas
Bear.
that the raisin
Word
every
with
kids me
Grizzly
ass
Bear.
thing.
Word with
Another
Grizzly
thing
Bear.
You
too,
understand?
another thing that we used to practice. I remember when it was fresh in working. And before that, you have businesses, not businesses, I should say employees who used to
Mm-hmm.
buy in bulk and share to with each other. Because back
Uh-huh.
then, buying in bulk used to work out much more effective. This is before you had bulk selling places. You actually people will go to the different distributors and buy and
Mm-hmm.
think
SBA and them.
and those are things that we also can work towards, and that's something that Chad would have been speaking about in terms of in your communities. And you had said then that your community doesn't have to be just where you are living or you are residing, but it can be
Yeah.
people your friends and the people who you work with, and start looking and deeper at that. And he's saying what Nielsen was saying with the carpooling, start pooling your resources together. You have somebody else doesn't, that person has something that you don't have. How can we help each other? Because the government ain't gonna tell we what to do. The government can put these measures in place, and we don't have to follow it the way that they say. We can
Mm.
do our own thing to help ourselves survive in this society, and that's something that you get from your grandparents. You don't have, you can make something from nothing. You can be given nothing and you can still make something out of it. And that's something that I learned growing up. It does not have to be, so nobody ain't gonna come and give you no handouts or nothing. So I ain't saying I can't sit down and wait for handouts. I mean, like kind of sorta. I just be like, shh, I sorry that I wasn't at that part in that thing that I would not have to struggle and work so hard. But
Mm.
I can't sit and wait on it. So I gotta get up and start thinking. I know that this body, this do the type people that I like, I go straight to distributors myself, all types of thing. I ain't getting the supermarket no more, you know. Not after
Mm.
supermarket, the profit that they could not say boast, but you can boast of making all of this money, whatever. No, I going straight to people who producing on the ground or whatever. I buy my chicken from my chicken man that growing
Right.
chickens, you know,
You
all
might
those
have.
things you have to start working
They bring
on
my eggs. They bring my eggs from the farm they're at. And they get you from the
straight.
market.
Exactly. So
That's the best
we
way to
got
go.
really do better for each other
But these people
and not
looking
wait
at
for
the eggs.
others to tell us
Yeah,
what to do.
man. Invest in the kitchen, eat and learn how to make your own bread. Like, okay, to show me.
I want
Exactly.
y'all bait for
Invest,
me and
invest
bring
in
coconut
yourself.
water for me. I don't
That's
understand.
what you gonna do. Invest in
Coconut
yourself. Hey,
Hello,
water.
look. Hey, make me one bread
bait for
right
me in
now.
the chat.
I do
You
all
tell
these
what
different
happened.
things.
I
I
cook
just try
food.
to
I love
elevate
to cook.
myself. I'm
Well,
looking
I
for
will cook
financial
food for you.
freedom.
You bait for me. I got let me start out saying
I'm
me.
looking for financial freedom. I agree. I don't really. That cool.
Mm.
I can live
No,
with
you
that.
going
I
buying
burn
always
I
going
burn
buying something from somebody outside.
I burn the system. I burn the system will work. I do great in these things, you know. That's
Mm.
Yes.
the
So
truth.
let me work on it, guys.
But as we talking about making money and things, days, back to Rich I was alluding to. Back to what I
Uh,
was alluding to
we
back
all out of
before a
race.
couple episodes ago. We talked about making money on different avenues and more innovative ways, to go OnlyFans. So I want to feel again
Uh,
with OnlyFans. Well, OnlyFans got a lot more traction within the past couple of months than it was before. OnlyFans
yeah,
is
I listen. I can hop in here so quick because
well, I thought you again. Can
because
you
of
start OnlyFans store
I
friends?
got in this
yeah
conversation.
because of quarantine, because of inactivity in the physical world where everybody upon lockdown. I feel as if that was where you remember Tory Lanez had his quarantine radio thing.
Quarantine.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
highly entertaining, and then it caught traction and almost everybody they're doing that, right? But we gotta recognize that there are consequences to a lot of the things socially that we are doing today because the actions of today obviously filter over and stretch over into tomorrow. And this is something that's missing from the overall society. And I speaking about and we back from Granny Rich Party again is traditional women because the fact that people are labeling themselves entrepreneurs but doing things in such a manner that it is morally was he give me a proper term there so people I think I missing something here so because my computer finally decided to come on so it distracted me um it's morally challenging there's a lot of gray area within the trajectory and the lane in which people are going down nowadays because let me look at it this way you decided to do whatever it is that you're doing to make money on a page. Do you think that that adds value to you, or do you think you're actually devaluing yourself? What? Tell me. I can stop there for the first part, and let me get in on that portion there so far. Talk to me about how I want to feel about. And we being serious here right now. We being
Yeah,
serious
very
right now.
serious though.
The
Um,
traditional woman versus the this entrepreneur type lifestyle where that it is being glorified to basically take off your clothes, do these sorts of things for money online. Talk to me about this.
but people didn't know start taking off the clothes to make money. People that making money online for years. People that making money for
That's a
years.
thing as old as time, yes.
It
That
is.
is as
As
old as
Natalie
time.
has,
But
as
but
as Natalie
but
said,
but
as Natalie
what
said,
Natalie said? Who's Natalie?
Natalie, the well-known
Or the
personality
or
Well, well, for our
right,
on the
okay,
international
song,
okay.
persons,
on the
they
song,
may not know.
it was this thing was selling in biblical things. That was the same song. That was what
Of
we doing.
course.
So,
But where is the footage of that? Where's the evidence?
but we
There
doing
is none.
we doing a lot more things online than we was doing things before. No, everything is
Right,
online. Everything we do is online. Before, if we was doing a podcast that we doing no, we would have gone in the studio
right,
together, sit down together,
right,
and do it together. But
right,
no, we gotta do it here online. We the broadcasting
right,
to be friends and family. We didn't Zoom calling
mhm,
nobody, but everybody doing everything online. Everything that is a
right.
subscription basis or a paywall to make money in the future. So
Uh-huh.
these women in these times, are thinking way different than morals. Morals going to even to be morals the same from 2016. Nobody don't got morals no more. Nobody don't got morals no more. You could look good, you could look bad, you could be big, you could be small. Like Sherry Quarter since our song, but
I already singing it.
but
I singing
on,
it.
but on the fans, they live because people got new and innovative ways now to make money, to find a new avenue where they can make money. I'm pretty sure that the money is relatively tax free. I could be wrong. And they got other avenues that they can make money from it. All sorts of different avenues. So it's like I can sit down here upon my morals and say, well, child boy, things hard. I can struggle. I look good or I look bad or I look big or I look small or I look short or I
Mhm.
look tall. They trying to do they're trying to, oh yeah, they do pay tax. Okay, cool. They're trying to do something different to make money. So instead of trying to be the traditional person that sells on the streets, you understand? They're selling it online. A lot of people mentally know from their end then they're not going out there to offer the service in person. They're doing it online behind a camera where they don't necessarily have to interact with the person. So
Mm-hmm.
this that's what their consideration, what they are holding on in themselves about doing it. By the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, we hold on to our morals too much to stop us from making money. That's how they see it. I ain't
Mm.
saying that.
Well,
I ain't saying that I agree with
Mm.
it. Or I ain't
Mm.
saying that I would come
I
in and go
appreciate your
set up
stance,
the
and I
plan.
know that what you're
yeah.
saying, I know what you are saying is not directly what Keita Moore feels or things. I know you giving us a separate point of view, a distinct point of view, and I could appreciate that. But continue,
Well,
Janelle. You
for
wanted
me,
to say
No, but
right.
before
Yeah.
you finish, right?
oh,
Before you
sorry,
finish,
Keita.
I ain't gonna go and say I would not somebody else to come and tell me that the stern only fine. I ain't gonna tell somebody or try to talk somebody out of it. You understand? If somebody that is neutral to me or that I could reasonably come and tell me the stern only fine, I would come and talk to them about why you doing it. Like I ain't gonna knock you down you idea, but I said well they got so much different ways to make money. Is you are you sure this is the reason that you want to go this direction to make money? We could talk about so much different avenues and how to make money. OnlyFans is not the only way, but people seeing it as quick money. That's the thing. And it really isn't. Because a
Right.
lot of these people that got the OnlyFans out there that you think doing well always got some sort of discount or this sort of sale. So you don't know that the numbers ain't as they want, they're making their subscription fees, the belly hurting. It going down,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't making the money that they want met. Then again, the content out there, they want to get. So so it's not always the answer. A lot of people going that direction, but it's not the answer. That's my
Mm-hmm.
piece.
All right, up in there, Jay.
Okay, for me, I am mixed on this here because I am torn between the fact that we have had the removal of morals and values in society to the fact that it's impacting more heavy on society or heavier on society than we realize. And when you have more people not focused on, morals and values and stuff like that, you're gonna see a lot of things degrading, and then we're gonna start to reduce our standards to suit the degradation of our morals and values and the what will hold a society and a community together. So I'm torn
Mm-hmm.
between that and the fact that you have to be innovative when it comes to making
Mm-hmm.
money. I've grown up hearing, yes, we know that
Agree.
this is as old as time, but I always grew up hearing about not grew up. I mean, when I was a teen and going into adulthood, like the
You
buying
bro.
girls had their own business. You don't have to be on the street selling. There are means and ways people have been innovative in finding ways to make money. And I do not
Agree.
have a problem with that entrepreneurial spirit because that is what also helps society to keep going when we take advantage of the resources that we have and we make you gotta do what you gotta do. And for me, as Kita
Mm-hmm.
said at the end, I am not against anybody who is doing those things or whatever, but I do feel a way about how it impacts on society, short term and long term. Because yes, individually that person ain't got to study about nothing. But then if it is that you have access to all of these things, it becomes harder for relationships because like people can look and say, oh, but this girl doing this thing in the OnlyFans, so well you don't do this here. So for me, same here with the with other means of what people use to um pleasure themselves or whatever. But my whole thing is that we still have to be careful in this society that we don't
Mm-hmm.
erode. And it's not just obviously locally, but we generally have to see that the actions do impact heavily on how society would turn. But on the
Mm-hmm.
other hand, we still have to keep in mind that we still have to have sources of income. You cannot have the same source of income. Society is not going to grow like that. You have to find different ways and means to do it. I want to start a
Uh-huh.
cash app. I don't know what you do in that cash app, but I want to make some
Mm-hmm.
money too. Why nobody, But then I got to
Right.
study what you use a
But,
mother, you got children and thing.
yeah, but you could start a cash out to do a lot of different things. It don't gotta be along that lane. It could be
True.
investing. You
So
can
that's
blend
like, but
Bitcoin.
what's come to mind
You
is
could,
the things that
but you could invest in Bitcoin, all these different things through that through that through
yeah.
that aspect. So
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's there are a lot of different ways to do things.
Yeah.
But innovation
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean you have to go down that lane. At the end of the day, sorry, before you go down, by the end of the day,
Mhm.
success is always so, and it
Yeah.
will continue to be like that
You'll
till the end
find
of
ways
time.
to help it sell,
So
boy.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, I'm sure the way that people used to view Bashir back in the day is not the way to do Bashir now, because
Mm.
it become the norm and it become expectancy, and what at the same time you knew what it was, it don't get glorified because, or it don't get broadcast because back then we wasn't showing it on social media, or a so-called worker can do a video and tell you that what's going on down there, what's not, like what's happening right now, and so on. So things, whilst things are different, they're somewhat still the same because
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
we still live in times where this is the norm and it will continue to be norm. So that's, you can't get away from it. It
Right.
can happen.
I seen Liz here so saying to me, do what you want to do, just gotta live with whatever decision you make. Usually that would be the stance that I take as well, because I am not a person that tries to stand up on a moral high ground and tell people or look down on people and tell them, oh, what you doing? It ain't a good in this. But I try to offer people the opportunity to recognize that when you make a choice today, you have to study the fact that there's a ripple effect that
Yes.
takes place when
But
you
you
make
gotta
that
live with it.
decision for your future and maybe the future of people that you care for.
You gotta live with it.
So, so, so this is my thing. If you know, because I know that in the back in the day, when you're young and thing, you're doing your little dirt, you're having your
I don't know
fun,
what you're talking
whatever.
about.
But then when
I
you
ain't,
reach
I
a
ain't know what
certain
you're talking
age group,
about.
you
I
saying,
ain't
Yeah,
well,
talking
you
about.
know,
I ain't talking about.
right,
Nah, I was
right,
an
yeah.
innocent fella, but
Yeah, I understand you, Keita, cause you were raised in a two-parent household and you were
yeah,
very well kept. So I do understand where you're coming from, sir. But for us in the chat and right here that grew up in a single-parent household, a extended family household, and we used to see a little action every now and again, and now and
You
again.
know what we're talking about
You don't
later.
recognize that the
I just
that the that the like if you see yeah, but this is my thing.
not in my
If you
household
know
though.
that if you know your future, you want to be a wife to a person, or you want to be a husband to a woman, and you want to have children and these sorts of things. You know how crazy it would be that your granny, because your granny look real young and hot and sexy and thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then this body running out like yo, big man, look, this is thing grandmother here, so boy, look, and they're showing pictures of video of her, whatever. To me, that's very disgraceful and it's distasteful and it's classless and it's painful, because then there's another form of bullying though that gonna come in. There's another dynamic of bullying that the future generations gonna go deal with or look forward to, because I can be able to pull up footage of somebody, once upon a time that you would say, man, big man, you can't tell me what to do. Boy, your mother, and you will get
Yeah,
vexed
yeah.
and you will fight. And then your mother will tell you what she tell me, because that happened to me at school. Man, I felt the time about my mother and me, he fight. And when I get home, I tell my mother was like, but he ain't knowing that about me, so you ain't had to fight and whatever. But this is a completely different dynamic. No, where that a man can actually put up footage of your mother or your grandma and say, well, look, I ain't care, you ain't even like your mother. You basically got that idea across the chain. So that's what I'm saying. The actions of today are gonna affect your tomorrow. It may not affect you, but it may affect somebody that you love. So you got to do better. I think we all got to do better,
Yeah.
especially with decision making. So
but
I don't knock nothing. I don't try to be that guy that gonna be like, oh, this is wrong and no, stop it. No, no, no. I just feel like if people were to take the opportunity to just think about things longevity wise rather than the no, we will all be in a better position, especially within blessing circles. That's like another thing too. And studying the no as opposed to the reality of your action.
here comes
And
the
then
circle.
it's like
Here
a whole
comes
bunch
the
of stress.
circle. Here comes the circle.
There's a
Things,
thing for it now.
the people that the fit that brown last week get back the money, or they're still going on because they hear you say blessing circle.
Well,
I remember the whole circle of life, and we back in the circle again. You know what I mean? There's a lot of circles. Yeah, the people don't want the money for your blessing circles. Things are rough. things are rough will hear blessing circles. People the vets that they come work or they didn't work any way they're
Mhm.
supposed to. We hear so much about blessing circles over the past 6 months. I wonder what is so blessed about it.
Why it's just a situation that poor people, because of the squeeze of the pandemic and so on, people just want avenues to make money, and this is the time where
Yeah.
financial predators are on the loose. Because I know that trading and investing has to be viable, but we I don't feel like we are in the correct region first of all to have access to certain things. I can't wake up tomorrow and say that I can go and buy stock in like Walmart or
You
whatever
could.
because I don't have a US. But that's what I'm saying. It's things that are possible now that were not possible in the past, but the pathway in which to get to it, everybody does not have the correct
Mm-hmm.
information. You got people out here that actually preying on people and their inability to know was fake, was
Yeah,
real.
but
Just like how
just to hold in my friend Sean, someone tell you
just like how
a
you will
message on
get
WhatsApp
But
telling
my
you that
my
telling you that you
mhm.
made 800 grand. A man
I
send you a
just
message on WhatsApp saying you made 800 grand.
yeah, but this conversation has really taken a full circle because this goes back to the original thing about the desperation and the man, whatever
right.
it is, whatever led him to go in the
Mm.
bank kind of thing. When in any time in a society you have hardship and stuff like that, people will do anything. They will try anything they can to make money, get money, however it is to take care of themselves and the family. That's where you will see
Mm.
the a lot more people coming out talking about what parents do in using their children as a way of means of making money. It's nothing new, but them is things that a lot of people who underprivileged and impoverished would do. Robbing banks, blessing circles. We have had whatever chains. I remember that I had like different chain letters and stuff like that. Any little whatever it is that you can do, take you people can take the risk. So listen, if I not me, but people would think and like study and watch them different shows and like you how we could rob a bank no and get away, how we could kill that body and know that because when they
Yeah,
kill that body
you
get
could
this and get away with it. People
you could watch my heist and all these different things and see what it's like to be a criminal. That shit be
yeah,
crazy.
but you just gotta take yourself. But I would take to myself. She's on brothers, but you always get
This
caught
TV,
one way or the other. And
but
as
this
Chad was
TV,
saying, there is
but this
always a
TV.
ripply fact.
Mm.
Something it is something happened like, but you see now the risk versus the reward for some people is
Right.
like, well, I could get caught, but I owe in 5 years and I could still got my, you know what I mean? Like, so back to
Mm.
the beginning of this whole thing, people can do anything to get whatever they can for their families. That's one of my closing thoughts for the night. So I really and truly like I just feel we just forget, not we as in up inside there. I'm just saying that a lot of people forget that when times hard, crime can increase, it can be rough in the streets, people can
Mhm.
do whatever they can, even if it meant them
Raw,
putting
raw,
on
man.
makeup and
Yeah.
robbing a bank. You know what I mean? Whatever you can to get what you want.
Any
Started my
closing words, man?
OnlyFans account
Yeah.
selling
Ankle
bikinis.
videos. Oh, oh, I thought you were selling. I thought you were saying ankle videos. Any closing words for me,
Yeah,
son?
the ankle video stayed though. When I see that, I was like, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
ankles though, so I really can't say. No,
Man,
you
you
can't
just
see
gonna
like
know. You just gonna know the angles, man. You just gonna know the angles
they're
and
not
stuff.
ankles. They're not
It's like,
ankles because they're not ankles.
another burn. That's a burn.
Oh my goodness. Yes, God know though. Yes, God know about yourself. All right. I have to admit, if anybody sees me, when you look down at my feet, you will realize, oh wait, she got ankles for Drew.
I've never
Quite
noticed that.
digress.
I've never noticed that about you,
Mm,
Janelle.
yeah, listen
I,
to me. Yes, it's
I've
true. I
never,
never had a
I never looked at you and said Janelle has no ankles. Whoa.
but
But
people
anyways,
people is notice it. But next time though, you get no, you can realize, wait, what you she
no,
got ankles for Drew?
clearly I
But I
have
never
to
get
know. Like, I gotta take a
Yeah,
whole picture. You put. I'm saying, oh,
that's why Allery did so say because he did say it, but I remember at school when the girls we used to wear because we didn't have the high socks time, we had the low socks, no socks time, so everybody used to wear anklets, and I used to wear my anklets too. But then like my anklets is like you got that hard bone at the back and you can see the ankles protruding and thing. No,
you can see
never had it. No.
that.
Never
Sure.
had it. Well, I had other things, so nobody never looking
Yeah,
at my ankles anyways, because there were
yeah.
other things
That
that didn't look at
that
that.
much I remember for sure. Chad, anything clothing for you?
Huh?
Oh gosh, is wrapping up time, Charlie. He gonna
Huh?
sleep. Child, you gonna
Chad,
sleep?
Chad
Oh,
did
sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was interrupting. Yeah, I
no,
was
he was
interrupting
saying
to
that
check
you
my,
ankle up,
when
crawling, calling, plant two just nearly falling.
Nike
Before
Falling
you,
shoes.
grass. That's
Yeah, Nike shoes nearly falling.
yeah,
But Nisa was
yeah.
telling me that it's knocking elbows instead of shaking hands. But when they bring out these Caucasian emoticons, you really can't differentiate what's going on. So
yeah.
we need some colorisms going on. But anyhow, people, as usual, we are very, very thankful. We are grateful for everybody coming in. This is our second time on the YouTube channel. We are seeing more and more subscribers coming in, and we are grateful. We just want you guys to keep pushing the link for us. Tell your friends to log in, to subscribe to Up Inside, turn on the
Yoo-hoo.
notifications so that whenever we decide to put up a post, topic, what we coming with the coming week. This platform is new to us. We are still working with it,
Mm-hmm.
but we love it. We love it. We can get accustomed just now. We just need a couple more episodes on here. Um, I think we were supposed to mention that we got a couple more episodes coming before a break as well. I got confirmed again. I think it
Yeah.
was about to be. I think it was supposed to be 5 episodes,
Four
correct?
more after this
5 more
one.
episodes
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
after
four
this,
more after this.
four
Four
more
more
after
after
this
this.
one, and then we can be taking a break. Right, we taking a break until June
From June
7th, to
17th.
from June 17th to July the 8th. Yeah, man. So we gonna be out of action for a while, but in the meantime, we're gonna be working on the
And
stuff
in
in the background that
between.
I talked to you about at the beginning of the show, and we're gonna be coming back fresh, ready, and raring to go. So yeah, people, smash that like button when it's coming. Get the likes up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I gotta try and do it now. Boom. Yeah, message Allery Media Productions, who we are powered by. If you want to get an opportunity to join the show, you want to sponsor us,
Sponsorship.
anything like that, message Allery Media Productions on Instagram, or you can slide into the Up Inside Your Instagram page, send us a DM, give us if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, give us a show, or if you want to call Allery Media Production and speak to him directly, you can give him a call at 841-143-999. So that is 841-143-999. So people, give thanks again. Be
Straight.
thankful. We bless up. We going forward. We on an upward
Yes.
momentum, and we are happy to have you with us. Yet again, I can't say thank you enough. I always keep remembering every time at the end of each show when we began in 2020, when everybody was home and we didn't know what the ass was going on, what was
We
gonna
almost
happen.
we almost at
I'm
June.
gonna come.
We start with June.
It gonna be over here.
No, I think we start in June. We start in June.
It gonna be.
I'm more sure.
I don't know.
Hey, look, Bob, on
Yeah,
Again,
Instagram.
it's there though.
I don't remember.
Hey, on Instagram, the first one still on Instagram.
Yeah, it gotta be there still somewhere.
But we plug in on. But for
Yeah, give thanks to Liz. Give thanks, Neil, sir.
Good night, and I hope everyone continues to enjoy the night. It's been a pleasure bringing this broadcast.
Yeah, for sure.
It really has been.
The Up Inside Your podcast and my co-host Janelle and Chad. Follow the page, subscribe, like, and share. We really
Hello, hello.
And you,
Yeah, man.
you are you.
Leave.
So Link up.
Thank you, guys.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Yeah, man. Have a good night.